Hello, this is Serial Jengo. You will be seeing me regularly on the Jengolese forum where I will be discussing, sometimes in monologue, sometimes in dialogue, the issues of Africa, and at times we'll be looking at specific countries. Today we're looking at Sierra Leone, where the country imports its main staple food, which is rice. We import over $200 million annually rice into the country, and this trade is controlled by a cartel, which is not necessarily a mass importing business where several elements, several interests are importing same, but only the very few powerful people have manned this trade. Now, since independence, Sierra Leone has been grappling with food self-sufficiency. But however, in the 70s and 80s, Sierra Leone was able to match up to the extent of exporting some of its excess rice. Well, that's dwindled after 1980 when we hosted the OAU, World Class by then conference, when you host the OAU conference as a head of state, your impetus and status within the Committee of Nations rises. Well, that massive expenditure by the then President Shaka Stevens led to a dismantling of much of the economic structure of Sierra Leone and an eventual civil war which started in 1991 of March. Since President Mada Bio came to power, he has made rice self-sufficiency a major part of his agenda. And if you watch the medium-term development plan of his government, rice is essentially part of his intention to develop Sierra Leone from day one. In 2018, 2019, there was a tranche from international partners to Sierra Leone where they committed $200 million towards rice production within the country, and by 2019 made a first payment of about $30 million. There was a lot of fanfare with that contribution from the donor partners, namely the World Bank, the IMF, and others from the Islamic world. What came of that? Rice normally takes about 6-7 months to produce and have it packaged for the end user, the consumer. We witnessed the eventual demise of that effort when $30 million was spent, but nothing came out of it. Well, you would not necessarily say it's new. This has been the case for ages where the goodwill of the international community has been misplaced and misused through partisan interests, or the government, perhaps in power, makes it an opportunity to give out, to dish out these donor grants and some loans to party faithfuls. And so up to this day, rice is a major concern. The markets are having real issues with prices. Every week, the price for a bag of rice rises. It rises by 10-15%, and it's very, very serious. No one has basically come to address the issue about why should we not be prosecuting those who have received money from the $30 million to make farming and rice production specifically a major source of dividend for the country. And now, what you may not know, and if you're a farmer, this is for you, is that the Bank of Sierra Leone is now making its own effort to help to bring rice production, among others, into a financial supporting fold, such that they are allocating some 230 million new loans as agricultural credit facilities to farmers who were growing three key produce, namely rice, onion, and doing poultry. These three categories of farmers are now having an opportunity to leverage on a soft credit from the Bank of Sierra Leone, which would make them invest same in their produce. And I have a paper here, which is a press release from the Bank of Sierra Leone, in which they expressly noted that this funding will go towards farmers, and these funding will be disbursed at the risk of commercial banks themselves. And that would attract an interest of 10% on farmers. So essentially, the banks will be given this cash to disburse, and they would have to disburse it based on their own risk. And that means they would have to vet